plug about this to find out about all the products that Wallach and others have developed that he recommends. This is such a powerful revolution against the globalist to get the minerals and vitamins and trace elements they say you don't need, and the globalists are fighting to block you getting. But first, Dr. Wallach, in about 6-7 minutes, tell us about your awakening, your discoveries, what you found, and the fact the system premeditatedly doesn't want us to know this because they love breast cancer up by several thousand percentage points, the U.S. leading the world, because it's always about the cure, never the cause. Let's have all these runs for the cure, not runs for the cause. They don't want people to know this. What have you discovered in your decades of research and all the things you've done? First off, tell us who you are, for those that don't know, and why you discovered this information.
Well, thank you, Alex. First of all, thank you so much for your hospitality. You're one of my heroes, and it's just really great to be with you today. And to answer your question, the thing that makes me different is that I do have a degree in agriculture from the University of Missouri, and my major is in animal husbandry and nutrition. In the animal industry, we don't have health insurance, so we just had to learn to solve the problems, which is a good thing. In the human industry, health industry, we have insurance, and the medical system learned to game the system to get the insurance. It's very seductive. They go after the money rather than taking care of the patient. Then I went on to veterinary school. Actually, in my second year of ag school, applied for and was surprised to get accepted into veterinary school. By the time I graduated ag school, I was only a second-year veterinary student, but I was also a graduate student, so I began to take pathology courses and found and discovered and wrote up the first case of a mass die-off in America from pollution in 1962. It was written up in international journals from Denmark in Danish and English, and Acta Pathologica. And that was an awakening for me. Certainly I wasn't aware of pollution until this mass die-off occurred. Then graduated veterinary school, went to Africa for a couple of years, worked with Marlon Perkins from the old Mutual of Omaha Wild Kingdom days on a white rhino conservation project, caught over 200 white rhino with drug darts, and sent them back to the States. And if you go to a wild animal park or a zoo and you see a white rhino, it's either one that I caught or offspring of the one I caught, so I'm very proud of that project.
I remember seeing that on television as a child.
Yep, there was quite a bit on TV, and of course you can actually see all this old film we've kept in the archives. They actually have pictures of me doing this, so anybody who wants to challenge that, we have the film of it. And then because of my background finding that first case of a mass die-off in pollution, Perkins, in the mid-60s when I was in Africa, actually got a grant from the National Institutes of Health to study pollution in zoo animals. He made a very good observation going back to the old Welsh coal miner days. You know, Alex, when they took the canary down in the mine, and if methane gas or carbon monoxide would leak into the mine, the canary would drop off the perch and die, and the men could get out before they suffocated or blew up. Well, Perkins reasoned quite correctly that here we have in a big zoo 300, 400, 500, 600 species of animals, and there are bound to be some of them that were more sensitive to pollution than others and give us a warning that doom was ahead. And so because I had written that first paper on a mass die-off from pollution, he called me back from Africa to be the pathologist on that project. And to make a long story short, it was a combined department from Washington University in St. Louis, the St. Louis Zoo, and the Shaw's Botanical Gardens. And it was my job to do the autopsies not only in zoo animals, but also human beings that died of natural causes in the close proximities to the zoos. This included all the major zoos in the United States, including the National Zoo and New York Zoo and Los Angeles and Miami and so on. Well, again, to make a long story short, over that period of some 12 years, did over 20,000 autopsies, some 17,000 and some change, and over 450 species of zoo animals and 3,000 humans, millions of chemistries, millions of slides with special stains. And the book that came out of that's a 1,200-page book, and it's in the Smithsonian Institute as a national treasure. It only cost $25 million at that time. It was a lot of money for a 25-year-old kid to be spending.
Because you had a pretty big team under you to be able to get all that done.
Oh, yeah. I had, they actually worked 24 hours a day. I had a team of people who were chemists and people who made the slides for me. And I think I probably had 7 people working for me. And again, as a young man, that was quite a project. Today it would cost billions of dollars to redo that study, and I don't think they'll ever do it again, which is a tragedy.
We're about to go to break. Tell folks what you discovered from the study.
Okay, what I just discovered, Alex, the bottom line was that every animal and every human being who dies of natural causes dies of a nutritional deficiency disease. And that was profound, and of course that didn't make a dent, because people say, well, what do you mean everybody dies of nutritional deficiencies? I mean, this is America. We have the best food in the world, and that is totally incorrect. The earth is not flat, and the sun does not rotate around the earth, and we have the worst food in the world.
Well, it's incredible information, and but now since you did those studies, there's all these others about feeding rats super high nutrient dense food, and they live twice as long. They're doing it with insects. So the system has duplicated your research. I mean, that's well known now that super high nutrient dense food and restricted diets does make mammals live a lot longer.
Oh, absolutely. We've tripled the lifespan, for instance, of dogs. 6 years ago, an old dog was 8 years old, today 25. We've eliminated 900 different diseases and all birth defects in dogs that still plague people simply with nutrition. We didn't do any genetically engineered programs. We didn't do wonder drugs or organ transplants. It's all done with vitamins and minerals. And this is where we came up with the programs that Youngevity does.
Amazing. And it's all at InfoWarsTeam.com. We're going to come back and get into your defeat of the EPA, of the FDA, over and over and over and over again. And the fact that they're trying to keep this information from the public. Stay with us. I had tried everything. Well, we worked hard getting him on the radio. He is a busy guy crisscrossing the globe. Written many best-selling books. Dr. Joel Wallach is our guest for the rest of the hour. We'll open the phones up later for our guest as well. And I've got to say, if you're watching on Prisonplanet.tv, he's joining us via video Skype. Doc, it is shocking when people learn how old you are. Tell people how old you are.
Next month I'll be 73, and I haven't been to a doctor in 64 years, never been sick, and certainly have never been on a prescription drug. So it's a testimony to doing the right things. You can be healthy. And if everybody were like me, the medical system would certainly have to shape up.
No exaggeration.
No.
I've seen you on stage speak. I've never had a chance to meet you in person. I know you're going to come to Austin soon. I've been twisting your arm. On stage and in person, you could pass for 55. I would guess 60. I would guess you're 60. You do not look 73.
Well, thank you. Yes, most people think I'm in my 50s, and I can certainly outwork most 18-year-olds physically on the farm. That's still true. And it's very exciting to be kind of an example. If you do all the correct stuff, avoid the bad things, you supplement with the 90 essential nutrients. I'm really proud of you for going that direction. You're certainly looking great and seeing the benefit, and I appreciate you sharing that with the world.
By the way, I want to get into you defeating the FDA and their criminal activities many times. But why did somebody like Aaron Dykes lose 91 pounds on things that don't even advertise themselves as weight loss?
Well, basically, Alex, the reason for weight gain and obesity is not what the doctors say. It has nothing to do with eating too much. It has nothing to do with lack of exercise or too much screen time. That theory doesn't fit the truth. If their theory was correct, with everybody exercising and avoiding fat and eating more whole grains, we should be number 200 in the world in obesity. Right now, we're number 1, following their instructions. Eating more whole grains, exercising more. Weight gain and obesity is due to a simple mineral deficiency. You take the minerals, regardless of the source, you take the minerals and you lose the weight. And we've found this to be true for the last 35 years. And my wife and I actually wrote a book called Hell's Kitchen, which you can get from InfoWarsTeam.com. And that book is just a great little book, and it goes into the history of weight gain and the reason why the medical system, the government, has pushed us in the wrong direction. Obesity is a physician-caused disease. It has nothing to do with eating too much. It has nothing to do with lack of exercise. It is a simple mineral deficiency, and that's why you're seeing the great results you are from just taking the 90 essential nutrients.
What about this report about obesity fight must shift from personal blame? U.S. panel says where the government's going to say what's bad, but they're saying having a steak is bad. They're saying eating some pasta is bad. Meanwhile, the GMO and all the toxins, they're saying those are just fine. But I've seen the studies that the toxins in GMO are totally linked to all sorts of weird obesity and health problems in rodents.
Well, you're exactly right. There's two forces attacking us. Number one are all the bad things, GMOs, the chemicals in the environment. And then the other thing is you're looking at not enough nutrients, particularly mineral nutrients. And these two forces together have caught Americans in the crossfire, if you will, and that's why we're the #1 obese nation in the world. It has nothing to do with not enough exercise, has nothing to do with too much food. And again, it's the chemicals on one hand taking us out of the reality of nutrition and the lack of nutrition, mineral nutrition in particular. Now, if I may say one thing, we have so many examples, literally thousands and thousands of examples of people who tried everything to lose weight, including surgery and so forth. And what's happened is we've been able to help people lose 400 pounds, 200 pounds, 100 pounds, as you have with your staff member. And it's simply by giving them mineral supplements. It doesn't matter if they take our Rebound in the 90 essential nutrients, or if they take pollen burst in our nutrients. It doesn't matter if they take the ASAP in our nutrients. As long as they're taking the minerals, they will lose weight. And of course, it doesn't take long. You're on 2 meals a day. You're just not really hungry. And you have to watch it. You have to be able to eat to make sure you're getting all the nutrients you need to be healthy. And so if you supplement properly, that will happen. And of course, nobody knows more about weight gain and weight loss than veterinarians, because this is what we do in feedlots for livestock. And so I just transferred that information from livestock to human beings. Been doing this, again, for 35 years. And again, just so happy that you've taken this on and brought it to the public. You're just really great for that.
The people perish for lack of knowledge, and the knowledge is at InfoWarsTeam.com if people want to learn more there. But when we come back in that short segment, I forgot to get into your defeat over and over again of the FDA. One of the few people that have actually defeated them. We'll find out how you did that and get into the illness epidemics, all these diseases. Why is that happening? And what is the system suppressing from the people? Stay with us.
We're on the march. The empire's on the run.
All I've ever wanted, all I've ever needed is liberty. And when I, a decade ago, heard Dr. Wallach on the radio, it totally clicked, but I never followed through on it. And then watching crew in the office get into it and all have dramatic effects, I said, I better get with the program. And I've lost 42 pounds. I haven't weighed in a while. It's probably a little bit more. I've got a lot more to lose. I was like probably 70 pounds. I mean, in my prime, when I used to jog and lift weights every day, I weighed about 180. I got up to 265. Okay? So I've got a ways to go. And every time I stop losing weight, because I've never been somebody taking essential fatty acids, taking vitamins, taking the Osteo FX, taking the Tangy Tangerine, taking the Pollen Burst. I've just never done it in my life. And every time I stop, suddenly I start, not losing weight anymore and not having as much energy. And I mean, I always do at least one of them a day, but it's like 3 or 4 things to take a day. Because even if you're going to Whole Foods or whatever, they're growing most of it organically, but it's technically not really completely organic because they're using some of the chemical fertilizers and things, and the soils are played out. But I'm telling you, this is